So when you come out of teacher training, most teachers feel inspired to get out there and share the message of yoga, right? I did. I came out of teacher training and I was like, yoga's the best thing ever. I need to show this to everyone because it's so amazing that nobody could possibly not like it and get the same transformation that I got in my teacher training, right? It's a beautiful story, especially because most yoga teachers, they go into teacher training with just the intention of deepening their practice, right? They're not trying to become teachers. They're not even sure if they can be a teacher. But after those magical few weeks, you realize, yeah, this is something for you, right? And then after your teacher training, you're like, what do I teach? And then you're like, what about social media? And then you're like, well, I also need a website. And then you're like, how do I set up pricing? And how do I actually charge? How do I get money? Like, how do I get students to pay online? There's all these questions that come up, right? When we hear yoga teacher training, pretty much nobody goes, oh boy, I can't wait to learn about the business of yoga. But the fact is that if you are a yoga teacher, you are in business, right? A lot of yoga teachers get a sour face when the word business or money comes up, but they're conflicted about this because they want to teach yoga full time. Maybe their corporate job is sucking their soul dry and they're not really sure how to make this transition. And the only thing they know is just to teach as many group classes and privates as possible. Maybe host an event or a retreat or whatever, but that's pretty much all the strategy that there is. It's more like tactics than strategy, right? And so this puts teachers in a really hard position because they don't really want to give in to all the businessy technical stuff, money stuff, because this is associated with the greedy 1%ers who are destroying the world and making everyone's life hard, okay? I can tell you for a fact that even if you made $1 million a year, you're still not gonna be at that level, all right? Next thing is that, unfortunately, yoga teachers get into this vicious cycle, all right? They come out of teacher training, they're not really sure what to teach, so the next logical step is, well, I'll take another teacher training. Did my 200, let's get a 300, right? And then what happens? Now you're a 500 hour. Amazing. Except you still don't know what to teach, except for repeating the stuff you were taught in teacher training. So what's the solution? We'll take another teacher training, of course. And this cycle just goes on and on and on, to the point where you get people who are 750, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200 hours teacher trainings, still can't figure out what to teach, and they just keep looping back and forth, right? Is that really helping people? How are you helping people if you're constantly taking teacher trainings, So the fact is, teachers need to acknowledge that coming out of teacher training, you're going into business. And the type of business you're going into is most commonly what's called B2C, business to consumer. You are a business and you are selling your services and your skills and your products to consumers. You might do corporate stuff, so that would be business to business, right? But most people go B2C. Now, to be in business, you need a few skills. It's inevitable, okay? Here's one of the top skills, copywriting. Okay, what is copywriting? Copy are the text, words that communicate what you're trying to say. There are skills to be had in copywriting. It is a very high-paying profession. Copywriters are very high pay. You can go and be a copywriter and make a 6-figure income because the words that you write communicate a message and drive sales for businesses. Okay? Copywriters are used in all kinds of places. Instagram captions, YouTube video descriptions, YouTube titles, landing page titles, webinars, slideshows, ebooks, all kinds of stuff. If there's words, copywriting is involved. So copywriting is definitely one of the top skills that yoga teachers need to learn how to do. And copywriting for marketing, so that you can communicate your message clearly and effectively, but also in a way that lets readers know you understand their problems. You know where they're coming from. And at the same time, you've got an effective solution that will show them how to make the transformation and transition they're looking for. That's huge, right? Because that's what's going to convince people to take some kind of action. It might be a click, it might be downloading something, it might be signing up for something, it might be sharing something, it might be purchasing something. Your ability to write words on a page have a direct impact in your capability to make money. Because if you can't communicate what it is you're doing, how are people going to take action? Okay? So even if you want to offer the most accessible $5 class, you still need to know how to copyright effectively. Even if you want to offer a free class, just putting the words free is not enough. Okay? Just because you're offering something for free doesn't mean people are going to take it. In fact, people don't value things that are free. And if you don't believe me, try offering free classes and see how many people come. You might get a few, especially at the beginning, but over time, they're not going to stick around. Okay? So copywriting, definitely one of the top skills. I know you're not going to like this next one, but it's super important. Sales. Okay, there, I said it. You're a used car salesman. We are not we are not pushing sales. We are not cold selling. Okay, it's just not what you're doing. What you need to be good at in sales is listening. Okay, and the trick with sales that a lot of people overlook is that there's all kinds of sales. Okay, yeah, there's people who just jam stuff down people's throats and the product or service isn't the right fit just for the sake of making the sale. Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that, right? But at the same time, I can get on the phone with someone, make them spend a considerable amount, and not only are they happy with the purchase, they'll thank me for guiding them through that transition and making that leap of faith. That's not cold selling. That's the difference, okay? When you have students, when you're able to copyright effectively, the students who align with what you're communicating will take the action you want them to take, and then you're not selling. You're just connecting a student with a product or service that they need and want, and they're happy to pay money for it. Did you feel like you were quote unquote sold for your teacher training? Unless you had a bad teacher training experience, you probably don't think of it as a bad investment or being sold, right? And you've been like this with lots of purchases. If you enjoyed it, if it delivered on what it said it was going to do or provide or assist you with, you're okay to spend the money on it because it helps you with something. There's nothing wrong with making an energetic exchange of supporting someone for something and receiving energy in the form of a currency that you can spend somewhere else, right? So sales is the next one, and sales comes down to listening. You need to listen to what the student is saying. What are their problems? Where do they want to go in their life? What are they looking for help with? And then being ethical, and if what they're looking for aligns with the type of work and transformation that you provide, then presenting that solution to them. Now, there's a lot more that goes into sales, like psychology and understanding people's fears and doubts, but effectively, just because you're making a sale doesn't mean you're ripping someone off, right? The trick with a good sale is that you should be making good money and the student should love spending it with you. Really important. Third skill is marketing. There's all kinds of different marketing, but we can boil it down to two main ones. Organic, which is things that you put out yourself, posts on social media that you manually do, comments in other people's posts and in private groups online. And paid, running an ad on Facebook, boosting a post on Instagram, running an ad on Google. This is paid advertising. You need both. Why? Well, your organic is your personal interactions. You're socializing, you're having fun, you're interacting with people, you're chatting about them and their journey and seeing where they're at. You're sharing your journey, your lessons, what you've learned. And this is great for people who've been following you. They maybe know you, or maybe they take your classes, or they've signed up for one of your other products or services. Fantastic. Paid advertising is usually done to what's called, well, there's different levels, but one way to do paid advertising is cold traffic. Cold traffic is people who don't know you, never heard of you, and don't know about you. And what they're doing is you're reaching out to them to try and get more new students to come into your systems, your world, your social, your offers, okay? That is one of the most effective ways to grow as a teacher, and one of the most powerful ways to make teaching yoga as a full-time source of income that you can then reliably step away from your full-time job. Very important. Okay, so that paid advertising is something that definitely will come down the line, but I wouldn't recommend it until you're very clear on what you offer. You've got systems set up for people to go through, and you're pretty clear on what you're doing for people. All right. Those are 3 big skills that you're going to need as a yoga teacher beyond teacher training. Unfortunately, yoga teacher trainings don't cover these skills. And as much as I wish that they did, a teacher training, especially 200 and 300, they've already got enough material to cover, right? And it's important that they cover yoga stuff, right? The issue is they need to communicate that teachers should be investing in these other skills after or even during the teacher training, depending on which kind you're taking. If you're doing an intensive teacher training, it's pretty hard to study other stuff outside of the program. But if you're doing one that's spread out over several weeks or months, you should simultaneously be learning about about the other skills that I've been mentioning here, right? The fourth one is called funnel design, right? So what is a funnel? A funnel is a system of steps that you have built online that takes people through a series of steps. So, for example, people who follow you on social media, this is called top of funnel because it's where you'll have the most people, and they're usually casual people, right? Some of your followers may have bought something from you, or signed up for a premium offer that you have, but ultimately the majority of people who follow you will be people who follow you on social and just kind of sitting there. Maybe they watch some of your videos, maybe they take a small action, okay? But then a small percentage of those people will take the next step with you. And that step might be downloading something for free, giving you their email for something, right? That's your second stage in the funnel, okay? So these people, they move from the initial stage of awareness, right? People on your social, they're aware of what you do and who you are and what you're about. Then the people who click the link in your bio to do something you offer for free, they are people who are interested in what you're doing, right? And that's going to be a small percentage of those people who follow you on social. And of those people who do something with you for free, right? Free download, free ebook, free video, whatever, a percentage of those people will have a desire to work more with you, right? They'll be more likely to make some kind of purchase, right? Might be a small one. And then a percentage of those people who make a purchase will be more willing to invest in a larger package with you. And those are your best clients, your dream students, perfect students, whatever name you want to call them. But those are the students that you're really working to get. Why? Well, fact, they're willing to invest in you and identify you as their teacher. But more importantly is that because they're willing to invest in you, they are willing to take more action. Because they trust you, because they've invested with you, they will listen to what you have to say. And because they've invested in you, they have something to lose, that money. And when they have something to lose, they are going to be more likely to take action because they've invested, right? Why do people work so hard at university? Well, they want a great future, but also because it costs them thousands of dollars and they're trying to get the most out of it, you know? The same goes for yourself. And coincidentally, the more people invest with you, the less they complain. And the more they are willing to promote you and what you offer, right? It's weird psychology. You don't have to believe me, but I can tell you for sure that anything below $500 to $1,000, people are actually going to be reaching out to you more, complaining more, wanting more discounts. But once you get over that $1,000 mark especially, students don't do that. They don't. They just do the actions you say. And because they do the actions you say, they get the results and then they promote you. Crazy, right? You don't have to believe me now. Just trust me. It's a fact. You'll get there. You'll know when you get there. So these are 4 crazy skills that you can use. Funnel design, I'd say, is a little bit more of an advanced one. I would prioritize copywriting and I forget what the second one was. And marketing, right? My bad, forgot the second one. But once you do these, now you have a way of communicating your message, right? One of the biggest issues teachers face is getting out there and attracting students, but they don't want to be posting on social. They don't want to be running ads. They're not really sure on what it is that they're offering or delivering to people. And so no surprise, nobody's taking action because they're not sure what you're doing because you're not sure what you're doing, you know? So the more you get clear on that, the easier it is for students to say, yes, this is the teacher for me. If you feel like that and you'd like to learn how you can take your teaching online, get clear on what you're going to be teaching, build yourself a path to teaching full-time, earning a full-time income, and doing so without having to teach a bunch of group classes, I've got something special for you. I got a free workshop in the link in the description down below. And this workshop will show you the stuff that teacher training doesn't, right? How you can balance teaching online and in person. I'm not saying you only got to go online. I'm saying make your money online and do that connection stuff in person. And you should be doing it well enough online to still have that connection, right? I got students all over the world. They are deeply connected with me and I them. And it's because we work together and I'm supporting them in their transition. All right. The next thing you're going to learn is how to build the tools you need for taking yourself online. There are tools. I've talked about this in other videos. I've talked about this previously on other channels, right? It's very important. There are things that you need to do. So I'll show you what those tools are and why they're important for building your location, schedule, and financial freedom. We'll also take a look at how you can use social media to grow your audience and attract students that see you as their guide. And we'll look at the importance of setting up a premium offer so that even if you don't think you can offer something in the $500 to $1,000 range right now, I'll show you how the strategy works and get some of those creative ideas flowing in your mind. Link is down below. I'll see you in the workshop.